Now, last weekend, Roman Kemp represented England at Soccer Aid for UNICEF 2025. Sadly ended up on the losing side, thanks to that late winner. I do love this. I can't see enough of Big Zoo celebrating the winning goal. It was brilliant for the rest of the world team. Alongside Roman on the pitch was his good mate, Tom Grennan. Roman's here. You've just teamed up together, you and Tom, to do your new podcast called You About. And Roman is here with said tattoo.
Yeah, you want to see it?
Let's have a look at this.
It's not a masterpiece, but
Can we get a close up of it?
I'll try and go in that.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
angle.
this is not very.
So there.
It's
a really weird angle to do it this early in the morning.
But you allowed him to do it.
Yeah, well, it actually came out of quite a badly made bet between the two of us after a very heavy Brit Awards.
I see.
And he ended up doing it live on
Can I ask how you lost the bet?
How? Well, I don't know if it's quite...
this morning?
Yeah, I don't know if it's... Well, it involves a lot of tequila. So I don't know if it's quite safe
leave it there.
for this morning, yeah.
But you and Tom Grennan, what a lovely pairing. I see you've got the same sort of facial hair going on. You seem like you're morphing.
We do, yeah, we morph. I just haven't quite got the curls yet. But to be honest, it was a really nice thing because when we, we've been friends for a long time and not a lot of people know about a lot of those relationships, that's such a weird way to say it, but like the celebrity relationships, I guess, and whether or not they're genuine.
Yeah,
because, people would have seen me interview Tom a lot of times, on Capital or on the One Show, and you don't know the relationships behind that. And so we'd after a football game, we'd be on the phone to each other for like an hour or so, or just chatting rubbish, and then we just thought, well, might as well record it. Yeah,
might as well record it. Well, it's worked so well for other people in there, but, Lily Allen and Makita Olivers. So, and it gives you a way, and I think what's really, obviously, you've been such a fantastic campaigner for just men talking, talking about difficult things, talking about all the highs and lows, the light and shade of all of life, being a young man in 2025, right?
Yeah.
And so this is an extension of that, and it's fun as well.
That's exactly it. And I think that for someone like Tom's 2 years younger than me, and Tom's he's just turned 30, and now he's kind of, we're both having those conversations that a lot of men our age, we do talk amongst ourselves quietly, but it's never really put into a podcast, about that changing moment of when do you want to start a family, when does life start getting a bit more
How do you know you've met the
more
one?
serious?
All of that sort of stuff.
Exactly, and also as you mentioned there, it does come down to a lot of mental health chat, a lot of stuff that is really refreshing to hear. Someone like Tom in his position as well as a pop star, someone who's up there in front of X amount of thousands of people, and having those real conversations. It's not all just tattoos.
No. But it's also, I mean, as you say, nothing is off limits. And I suppose the way you both met was probably set the tone for how open you would be with each other for the rest of your friendship. Just explain.
So Tom and I used to go to the same gym. And the very first time we met was naked in front of each other. Safe to say I was far more embarrassed than Tom. Tom, just for a Friday, Tom has nothing to be embarrassed about. And that has always stayed with me.
Hilarious.
Forever. Yeah.
Hilarious.
So I had to be a big... personality, let's say.
So when you meet, do you actually go, all right, mate, I recognise you?
Yeah, of course.
How do you...
Of course, but it's like literally, because I knew it was kind of like he was kind of starting his music career, and it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Stop using the word big.
You're obviously radio
I have
guy.
To stop using the word big.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I saw him naked and thought we should be friends.
We should be friends. How lovely. And you're such a. As you said, for many, many years, there was one of two ways you could have gone.
Yeah.
We had Martin on GMB. Your dad was on GMB, I think, yesterday or the day before, actually.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Gogglebox and you two doing it. And I thought it was really lovely, the story about why you persuaded him to do Gogglebox with you. And it was to do, as you say, that's probably what you talked to Tom about the future. Yeah,
exactly. And I think a lot of families that I think are quite scared of the chat around mortality, and which is a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to talk to your dad about them dying, or your parents about them dying. But I always talked to my dad about that stuff, and I always said, at the beginning of Gogglebox, I said, look, forget about it being a TV show. I love the fact that when you're not here, I'm able to show my future grandkids what our relationship is, which is just being really silly and my dad saying far too much stuff about my mum than I would like him to. But that is the genuine reason that we do it together. It's the same reason why we did our podcast together. It's the same reason we do any jobs together, is because I love the fact that I'm so privileged that I can have all these amazing moments with, you know, the person that I love, you know, on camera and recorded.
Yeah, it's really wonderful, Roman. I think you're doing such a cracking job of just being you, which I think is a difficult thing for any of us to achieve, just to be truly yourself.
Maybe.
You know, all the highs and lows, the dark and shade, all of it, you sort of share so much.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that. And your podcast, You About, which presumably is what you say, You About, Tom.
It is. It's literally the text I always said. Yeah, exactly.
Can you play?
That is literally it, yeah.
Okay. It's on all podcast platforms and it's really worth a good listen. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on The One Show later. And that's a wrap for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. We have all the best moments from the show right here on the channel. And if you like this video, then we think you'll love this one. See you next time.